Welcome back. Today is, of course, the day we mark and celebrate and pay attention to persons living with disability. And that's why we brought them to the fore to have this conversation, because once every year they are brought to the fore to see what the challenges and the struggles are and how the community can aggregate to help and support and make them feel welcome at all times. We've been joined in our Lagos studio by Mrs. Esther Samuel, crops and aquaculture farmer and founder of Women's Aide Ventures, a member of the NWAPDI in Lagos. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
You're welcome. Good morning.
And we also have joining us via Zoom, David Ayenle, SA Persons with Disability to the Governor, Chairman Abia State Commission for Welfare of Disabled Persons, and Executive Director, Center for Citizens with Disability. Mr. David, thank you so much for coming on the program as well. Yes, just to help us on mute. Okay, let's start with you, madam. Every year we have this day, we pay attention to persons with disability.
Okay.
But maybe you can tell us your personal story, because that's the idea. Sometimes the best way to follow a story is to follow a character. But in this case, this character is real life, real experience. Maybe tell us your story.
Actually, like I told you earlier, my name's Esther Samuel. Being disability is through accidents. I got this accident a very long year ago. Thank God I'm alive today. I was told then that I was the only surviving soul with 18 people off. So that's where I found myself. And I cannot just sit down doing nothing. So I now discover where to move ahead to. Thank God I find farming. I believe because I retired, or I should say set up. I work in so many companies before I become a farmer. But thank God, joining farming, I did not see any regret.
So where were you working before? So you retired from where? And what were you doing where you were working? And when was this accident as well?
Bogon. I was coming from Ogbomosho.
Okay.
Yes, where I got the accident. So that's where I find myself.
So you say you were working where?
Cocoa industry.
What?
Cocoa industry.
Okay, in the cocoa industry.
Ikeja. Then.
So how has it been for a person living with disability in terms of the farming experience? What's the challenge? Because that's the idea of this conversation.
It's not easy.
You
can see the way I managed to clamp up now. It's not easy, but instead of wanting to just sit down at home, maybe depending on someone, just have to keep the life moving. Farming, with the situation of the country now, it's not easy. It's not easy. Maybe in aquaculture, in any aspect of farming, we really need the government help. Like this season, this year, every farmers are lamenting because the stopping of rain just stopped unexpectedly. Like I'm talking to you now, the one I have more than 4 acres. I cannot get, in fact, I cannot get anything from it. Dry, everything dry up. The one that's, because you cannot plant once, you plant gradually. Even the one that made the season of that little rainfall we have, thief, they came in and smashed everything. So in terms of security, in terms of assisting, we all need government help.
And that's why we're having this conversation. We hope that there'll be increased assistance for persons living with disability. Okay. Let me come to you now, Mr. Anyele. Since 2019, when the Bill on Persons for the Protection of Persons with Disability became law, bring us up to speed with some of the progress, and challenges that are still in the path of, the rights of persons with disability to, living productively. What are the progresses that we have made, and what are the challenges that remain?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Charles, for focusing on today, International Day for Persons with Disabilities. You've been our lead champion in promoting the rights of people with disabilities across the country. So, in 2019, January 17th, we secured the assent of the President on the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Provision Act. That ended the 18-year struggle to secure a law that will protect people with disabilities from discrimination and other harmful practices. Taking us 18 years to secure it means that we are going to struggle much more to secure implementation, knowing fully well the nature of our environment, the nature of the Nigerian state. And that nature of the Nigerian state promotes exclusion, discrimination on the grounds of disability. Political actors struggle much more to appreciate the role and responsibilities on their part in ensuring that no one is left behind, either in democracy, governance, economic, or social participation. Therefore, the situation we find ourselves now is that we have gotten the law, we've gotten the commission, persons with disabilities at the national, at the state level also, like my state, we have Abia State Commission for people with disabilities. Having said that, we've not gotten to where we are going. Where we are going is a state where all barriers against people with disabilities are removed. Where we are going is that we have access to social infrastructure. We have access to economic activities. Look at the story my comrade is speaking about her farming business and her disability. When programs of the government do not target specific people with disabilities, knowing fully well that their ability to participate is breached by barriers, then it is the responsibility of the state to pay attention on issues that concern them. So where we are now is the era where we are commanding for enforcement, because the law provides a moratorium for 5 years. And that 5 years is that all public institutions must be made accessible to people with disabilities. All government program activities must be made accessible to people with disabilities. All government policies and programs must have a section that speaks on disability issues. Because one of the greatest barriers people with disabilities passes or faces every day is institutional barrier. And what is institutional barrier? Institutional barrier stems from changing norms, changing values from state on how they relate with disability by policy, by law, or by guidelines that support what they do and how they do it. So when such guidelines, when such policy, when such law are there, are not being implemented, or they are not there at all, are not being enacted, then institutional barrier is being made against people with disabilities. And it is the state that is creating this institutional barrier. That is why what we are doing in Abia State is to remove all manner of institutional barrier that will hinder people with disabilities from participating in program activities of the government on equal basis with others, by ensuring that Abia State disability law is implemented, by ensuring that people will participate in leadership, which is the grand norm of His Excellency Dr. Choma Oti. That is explicit. That people with disabilities must be able to lead in issues that concern them. And that is the only way they can say that they are included in governance.
All right, absolutely. We're impressed by some of those interventions you've reeled out. I'm sure you are a testament to that effect as well. But we did talk about touching base with our correspondent who are all over the country to bring us up to speed with what's going on the streets ahead of the Yuletide. Kelly Agiga, we get back to him in a moment. Okay, he's standing by already. Yes, that is Oshodi Terminal. Kelly, we can see you. Exactly what is going on where you are.
Yes, Jeff, Bukola, Kayode, this is the Terminal 3 at the Oshodi BRT Lagos, and it's a very busy terminal. I said that. Let's see if we can just show our viewers what it is like right here. We've been confronted by the Chief Security Officer of the terminal not to film, but we've told him this is a public place and we have to show Nigerians what exactly is playing out here. But compared to yesterday, the great news is that at the Terminal 3 right here at the Oshodi BRT, there is a shade for commuters, for Lagosians who are trying to make their way to their businesses. So there's a shade here for them. You can see some are not in the sun. These ones are under this very massive shade. There's also a place for commuters to sit while they wait for their BRT bus. So you can see that this is like a waiting space, and that's why you can see these commuters right here seated, perhaps until when it is time for them to make their way to their place, when it's their trip, their scheduled trip, of course. So that's what it is here. Some are seated waiting, some are standing. But the big deal is that some other persons are also standing. Some other persons are also standing. Well, somehow in the shade, but some are right under the sun. No thanks to the sun. I mean, there's a shade provided for them. I must say, credit to the Lagos State government. There's a shade provided for them, but somehow the sun has stretched to where these ones are standing. Let's see if we can quickly do that for our viewers all around the world. It's a busy terminal. The Oshodi area right here in Lagos, Nigeria, and the continent is a very, very busy space. So that's why you can see this number of persons right here ready to get their trips to their various places of destination. I mean, you know how affordable these rates are, but the bad news, the sad news is that some of them would have to stand, would have to wait here, and they've been waiting like this for quite some time. We had got to one or two persons who were ready to share their views with us. We'll get in one person very quickly in just a moment. But I must also mention this. The reason why this is so busy is that it's a connecting point. It's a connecting point. So that's why it has a lot of commuters right here at the Oshodi terminal. I'm not sure, sir, you want to share your views with us live on TV? All right. So that's what it is, guys. Right here at the Terminal 3 of Oshodi Terminal. Someone had agreed to speak with us. Let's see if we can catch him. He's about entering his bus now. So how long, what's your name, what's your destination, how long have you been waiting?
My name is Daniel. I've been waiting for like 45 minutes, you understand? So at times, where I live in First Stack, you understand? Before they will say 6 o'clock, but at times we stay there like 7, 8 before the bus comes, you understand? So a little bit disappointment there. And 11th is also, when I'm going home, you understand, we have a little bit, we have like 400 passengers, but delay will be there, you understand? Before the buses come, they waste our time. So that delay, let them use time factor. If it's 7, let buses come start by 7, you understand? That's the experience I've been having for some time now.
All right, thank you so much. I have a safe trip. So that's what it is right here. I don't know why the CSO is taking my own picture now. He has tried to prevent me from filming. But that's what it is here, guys, everyone. Back to you guys.
Yes, if you can hear me, Kelly, it's okay. It's a busy scene where you are. We have more questions for you, but we wonder if we have time to take those questions. We'll get back to Kelly and see how efficient that system, continues to be. But as we return to the studio now, let's continue the conversation here in the studio with you, ma'am. We empathize with you, and we, can only imagine some of the challenges that you are going through. But as a person with disability, how has your life changed significantly? How have you been able to, manage with your daily activities, particularly since the accident that altered your normal routine?
Thank you. Like I told you earlier, it's not easy. I need to move from one friend to another to assist. Because the person that assists you today, you not expect that person to continue again. So you just have to. Thank God. When I joined this association, this farmer association, in one place or the other, in one way or the other, they assisted me too. But it's not easy. It's not easy. Maybe in time of going to the market to buy 1 or 2 things for my fish feed, it's not easy. You can see I have a bandage on me that I use that to support me to move around. So we want this time around the government should come to our aid.
And then farming as a person with disability, I know it will be challenging. What methods of farming do you deploy?
Crops, and like I told you, aquaculture, fishery. I need assistance. I have a labor that I pay for two people that will assist me. My own is to oversee their jobs. Like the crops, I told you earlier, more than 2 acres. So I move around, I go there. Not all the time, but at times the body will not be able to move. But you just have to, with one support or the other, we go around to check.
So are your yields enough to enable you pay those whom you deploy on the farm?
I can't tell
to help you?
No. No, that's why I make use of wages per day.
So how has the association helped to improve your yield, your earnings, even some of the materials that you require for farming? What are the opportunities that have come as a result of?
We are still waiting. Keep on promising. I have not achieved anyone, but they keep on promising us, and I pray by this government of it, it will favor us.
Okay, perhaps Mr. Anyele will be able to speak to some of the challenges of, our guests here in the studio. Let's come to Mr. Anyele. You spoke about quite a number of interventions and how we're not yet where we need to be as far as, the impact of the legislation is concerned. Speaking of which, what engagements, is the association, carrying out with governments, both at the federal and at the state level? And what sense are you getting of interventions for persons with disability?
At the national level, we are not seeing a deliberate policy that set aside either a quota or a percentage dedicated to SME-related activities of people with disabilities. So what you see is that when there is a national intervention, either economic rollback or otherwise, people with disabilities and the association begin to write letter, begin to demand for inclusion. At the end of the day, by the time the program has finished, people with disabilities may not get. At the state level also, this is what is happening in other states as well. But here in Abia State, what we've done so far is because there is an office for persons with disabilities, the commission is to engage different commissioners, different heads of agencies that are rolling out or distributing economic empowerment programs, especially it has to do with SME, where we are able to ensure that persons with disabilities who are participating in economic activities benefit from government grants, benefit from government loan, the 1 billion loan that was shared to SMEs in the state. We made sure that people with disabilities participate who are interested in benefiting. The SMEs grant from the federal and the state that are being rolled out to entrepreneurs, and we ensure that people with disabilities participate. This can only be made meaningful or scaled up when state governments are deliberate in identifying individuals to coordinate their activities around ensuring inclusion and participation of people with disabilities in government program activities. Where that is not available, government will struggle much more in ensuring that they are not left behind. And let me tell you, when there is poverty, it hits people with disabilities much more. When there is either a natural disaster or climate changes, there is hunger in the land, it is people with disabilities that bears the greatest blunt. What that means is that effort should be made by states at all levels to identify, to ensure that the program from the conceptualization to implementation has a mechanism that tracks the extent people with disabilities benefit. Where such is missing, such program will exclude people with disabilities. You will see them keep on crying. And I'm glad that at the national level, there is National Commission for Persons with Disabilities that is coordinating government program activities at the national level, as well as the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on special needs and equal opportunity. Where these offices are functioning maximally, what that means is that they will be tracking, monitoring program of different ministry, department agencies that are aimed at alleviating poverty.
We're totally out of time, Ms. Anyele. If you can hear me, Ms. Anyele, we're totally out of time. I know you have a lot to say, but the luxury of time is perhaps what we don't have. We must thank you so much, and we're happy these issues are brought to the fore today, which is a day to pay attention to people living with disability across the world and in Nigeria. David Anyele is the SA Persons with Disabilities to Governor Alex Oti of Abia State and the Chairman Abia Commission for Welfare of Disabled Persons. Also, we have in our studio, Lagos studio, Esther Samuel, crops and aquaculture farmer and founder of Wemisco Adex Ventures. Thank you both, for coming on the program. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.